And Reality Winter was arrested in 2017 and charged with removing classified material from a government facility and mailing it to a news outlet. Winter was a contractor at the National Security Agency, and she leaked documents to the Intercept that indicated Russian hackers had been able to access U.S. voting machines. Winter was held at the Lincoln County Jail in Lincolnton, Georgia, and was twice denied bail before a trial. She pleaded guilty to violating the Espionage Act and was sentenced in 2018 to 5 years and 3 months in prison. Winter's sentence is the longest of its kind, despite the former NSA contractor taking a plea deal. Winter's mother, Billie Winter Davis, has been an outspoken advocate for her daughter, campaigning for her to be pardoned and released. She spoke on Thursday with WBAI.
Reality has always been a good person, a good student. She was top 10 of her graduating class in high school. She has always volunteered in her community. She was never in any kind of trouble whatsoever. She gave up a full scholarship with the local university here for an engineering program to join the Air Force right out of high school. She wanted to be a linguist. She wanted to be a Middle Eastern linguist. She had started to teach herself the Arabic language while still in high school because that was something that interested her, the language and the culture and things like that. And so right out of high school, she went into the Air Force. She was selected for their linguist program. She was selected for Farsi and Dari and then later Pashto. And she served 6 years in the Air Force. She was commended for her service. She received a commendation medal for the outstanding work that she did in identifying and eliminating targets out there.
And then she left the Air Force and went on to a new job after that. Did you know much about that?
She was discharged from the Air Force in December of 2016, and she began work as a contractor for the NSA, a contract agency with the NSA there in Augusta, Georgia, and I believe that she started that position in February of 2017. She was doing similar work than what she had done in the Air Force, but now with a contract agency there in Georgia.
Your first knowledge of this, I imagine, was when you got a call from that FBI agent.
We really didn't know what was going on. We didn't know what she was charged with. Reality had told me that she was being accused of leaking a document, and so even at the first hearing, they were very vague about her charges and about what was going on. So we were not even really aware at that first hearing what was happening. It was later when actually a person from the media was the one who sent me the link to the prosecutors, the government's press release, sent me the link to the Intercept article letting me know this is what your daughter is being accused of leaking. And that was the intelligence report with regard to the Russian attempts at hacking into our voting systems.
Mm-hmm. What was the legal haggling like leading up to her pleading guilty, taking a plea?
Oh, that was a nightmare. She was denied bond. The government put on a case indicating that she was a flight risk, even though, she had very little money and they had taken her passport. The government put on a case that she might have more documents in her possession or that she might be a risk of leaking more, even though they went through everything and they found nothing. The government indicated that she hated her country and that she was a risk to society, even though that was also never founded, never backed up by any evidence whatsoever. And so she was denied bond, and so that was probably one of the hardest things in that, the 17 months that she was in county jail leading up to her plea, she never had a chance to defend herself. And then what the government did was, they basically put a gag order on her attorneys and everyone involved in the case, so nobody could speak out on her behalf. The only information that was really allowed out there was what the government would file, and that was very damning to her, and her defense couldn't defend it because they were under a gag order. They couldn't speak out at all with regard to her case. And then the judge denied them subpoenas. They issued 41 subpoenas of key witnesses that they felt they needed to defend her, and the judge denied 40 of those. It got to the point where they kind of saw the writing on the wall. You know, how can you defend somebody if the court continually rules against you and you can't even call witnesses?
Right. The decision was made, she made the decision with her lawyers that it was best to plead guilty to a plea bargain, right?
Right, yeah. The government was seeking to put her in prison for 10 years, and then the government basically offered this 63-month prison sentence with then an additional 3 years of supervised release after the 5 years in prison.
When is her release date now?
It's December 30th of 2021.
What was her principles in all of this? What principles did she have, and were you aware of her principal position on things like this?
Reality she was out there on social media. She really advocates for the environment. She advocates for freedoms and for people who need assistance. I'm not sure. She is a patriot. And if you read her commendation medal, you see what an asset she was and the hundreds of targets that she removed from the field. She defended us. She protected us. She believes in her country. I know that with the election of President Trump, she wasn't happy with that because so many of his policies with regard to the environment and eliminating transgenders from the military, a lot of his policies she just does not agree with.
You're saying now she's being denied access to the media. She's not allowed to give any sort of interview. Is that it?
They've requested access to her. They requested to be able to interview her even over the phone, and they've received denial letters.
Mm-hmm. And do you know why that is? Because it's not...
I don't. I mean, one of the letters indicated that it was for security reasons, and so they put in another request and indicated they were willing to do whatever was necessary to ensure security and safety of all. Mm-hmm. But, you know, they continually are denied access to her.
And has anybody had a chance? Has she given any interviews at all? Has she had any opportunity to do an interview?
Only the CBS This Morning one, and that was right after her sentencing, and that was while she was still at the county jail. At the county jail, she was able to call out, and so she called and did that very brief interview.
I see.
And basically that was in response to President Trump's tweet about her sentence being unfair.
I see. Not long enough as far as the president was concerned, right?
Pardon?
The president wanted it to be a longer sentence, right?
Oh, no. He said it was unfair.
He said it was unfair. So are you...
Oh, yes.
So you have
He said it was unfair. He said, you know, he tweeted to Jeff Sessions and said, this is unfair.
Why do you think the president thinks it's unfair? Because she's not a friend of the president, and he can be a bit vindictive, it seems, at times. What's going on there?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, he tweeted it out there. We tried to get his attention after that. We've tried to remind him of his tweet out there. There are some people who think, you know, because then he also added in there that, you know, Hillary Clinton has not been charged or jailed. But here we have, you know, the whistleblower got 63 months and he said it was unfair. So a lot of people just think that he was trying to get at Jeff Sessions and also Hillary Clinton, and he used, you know, my daughter for that.
Are you planning to go to Washington on you're going on June 30th, right?
June 3rd.
June 3rd, I'm sorry. So what happens
Monday.
What happens on June 3rd?
Well, June 3rd is the second year anniversary of her jailing and arrest, her arrest and her jailing. And what we're planning to do is meet up there near the White House at Lafayette Square, and we will have some supporters there just to raise awareness that she's still in prison, that she is serving the longest sentence, and that she really doesn't deserve this. The information that she released to the public was information that we should have had already in her possession. I don't know why our intelligence agencies were not releasing that, why we as American citizens don't have the right to know that our country, our vote was under attack. So, you know, we're going to be there at the park. We're going to be raising awareness for reality and trying to continue to keep her name out there and, see if we can get something done.
Great. Anything you'd like to add?
No, I appreciate everyone out there who keeps her name out there, because that's really what's needed. Abuse happens in the dark. If they feel that they can continue to abuse her through the system, they will. And so the public pressure, is what we really need.
How about your neighbors and people who know about this? Have you had any problems, or have you had support? Considering
we've had tremendous support from all over. Tremendous support. Of course, there's always going to be the messages out there on social media indicating, that she's a traitor and she should be shot. But I just disregard those because they don't know what they're talking about. I mean, if releasing a document about an attack on us is a traitor, that doesn't make any sense to me at all. How can she be a traitor? She's protecting us.
How about your community, in your church, and places like that?
Everybody's been supportive.
Billie Winner Davis is mother of whistleblower Reality Winner. Before her daughter made national news, Winner Davis was a social worker in Texas. She gave up her job in an attempt to help her daughter. She plans to be in Washington on June 3rd to lobby for clemency by President Trump.